So guys, service is the definition of the task to execute on the worker nodes. It is the central structure of the Swarm system and the primary root of user interaction with the Swarm. When you create a service, you specify which particular container image to use, which command to be executed inside the running containers, which port to be exposed, what is going to be replicas or number of instance count, what is going to be resource definitions like how much CPU you want to allocate, how much RAM you want to allocate, what is going to be your disk mapping or directory mapping, everything you specify in the service definitions. Running services in Docker Swarm. We have Swarm cluster up and we are ready to deploy the services. In this demo, we will deploy service name web server, which will be using Nginx Docker images. You can see the command. That's easy. Docker service create -p is for port. Port 8080 is exposed and it is forwarded to port 80, and -- name, which is web server, and Nginx is the image which we are going to use. In the above example, as I mentioned, we are mapping port 80 in Nginx container to port 8080 on the cluster so that we can access the default Nginx page from anywhere. Another thing which is very important to understand, Swarm service modes. So Swarm service supports two modes. One is replicated, one is global. If you don't specify anything, the default mode is replicated. What is replicated mode? In replicated mode, you can pass number of replicas of service and Swarm maintain that count. Let's say you are going to create a service where you specify number of replicas 5 or 2 or 3, whatever value you want. So Swarm always maintain that particular replica count. Swarm makes sure those many replicas are always up and running. In case due to some issue, one replica dies, Swarm automatically creates a new replica so that it can maintain the desired count or desired state. So that's a replicated way. The other way is global mode. To start a global service on each available node, pass -- mode global to the Docker service create command. Every time a new node becomes available, the scheduler places a task on the global service on the new node. So guys, what it means? In this example, you can see here, we are not specifying number of replicas, but we are saying -- mode global. Rest things are same. What it means, let's say you got a 3 node swarm. So when you create a service using -- mode global, automatically 3 replicas will be created. Let's assume one scenario, you add 2 new nodes. So what will happen? Automatically 2 more instances will be created on new nodes when they join. I believe it makes sense, right? I'm not sure. Another thing, let's take another scenario. You got 5 node swarm cluster. 2 of the nodes leaves the cluster or you remove them from cluster. What is going to happen? That service will be still running on 3 nodes. It is not going to spin up 5 replicas on 3 nodes. So it will be 3 replicas on 3 nodes. So that's called global mode. That's based on number of instances, number of worker nodes. So let's quickly create a service. So I am on my manager node. Here I'm going to create a service. So Docker space service create -p, port 8080 is the published port, 80 on Nginx, and -- name web server is the service name. This is the image which I'm telling to use, pressing enter. So this will create service. I'm running this command on my manager node because manager node is one who will send this particular request to the workers. You can see here, this is the service ID, service code created successfully. This is the service ID. We got one message. Don't get worried with the red color because it is saying since detach is false, we haven't specified detach. By default, it's false. So this task will be performed or get created in the background. So that's good. That's what we want. It can go into background. We don't want to see what is happening. So this is a way like services get created. How you can list a service? You can run docker service ls. You can see this is the service ID. This was the task ID. This is the service ID now. This is the name of service, web server. It's replicated, as you mentioned. When you don't specify anything, by default is replicated. This is number of replicas. This one is mean desired, because we need one instance to be running. Right now nothing is running, it's 0. So it may be getting created because I specified Nginx image. Maybe this image is not available locally on the worker node, so it may be getting downloaded. This is the image, this is the ports forwarding. So let's run ls again. You can see now replica count is 1, so it means service is running. Let me show you how we can access this particular service, because Docker make use of mesh networking. With that networking, you can simply access the service from anywhere in cluster. But first, let me show you right now where service is running. For that, you can run docker service ps and the service name. This is the service name, or you can specify service ID, which is this one. That's up to you. You can see here service is running on node 2. Its desired state is running and current state is also running. That's the reason we go to 1/1, means desired count is 1 and actual count is 1 now, which means service is running. So let's try to access this particular service. Before that, I want to tell you another thing. If you see this name is webserver.1. So how it works? Web server is the service name. .1 is that's the first replica. If you go to 2 replica, .2, .3, .4, that's way it's going to work. So let's quickly do curl. Here I'm specifying IP of my node 2, which is 102 over port 8080, and let's see what happens. I missed .1, sorry for that. 1.102. You can see we got Nginx welcome page over the IP address of node 2. You may be thinking I use term mesh networking. What mesh networking mean? Let's say the service is running on node 2, right? If I want to access with the IP address of node 1, what is going to happen? You can see I'm able to see the welcome page. If I want to access it with the manager node IP, which is .100, what is going to happen? Still I'm able to see the welcome page. That is mesh networking, and that's a beauty of mesh networking. You can access this particular service from anywhere. What happens if you try to create service with the same port? Let's say this time I'm saying create web server 1. I'm not changing ports, so this port is already reserved over cluster. So let's say what happens, it will complain us like you can't create because this port is already used. But let's wait the message to come. Okay, you can see error response from daemon. Port 8080 is already in use by service web server, so we can't use this port. So that's again a secure thing. So now let me show you how you can create a replicated service. Replicated service is something which I just created. Let me show you again. This is replicated server with 1 replica. I'm going to create another replicated service with more than 1 replica. So let me do that quickly. Here I'm running command docker service create -- name replicated and underscore service. This is service name. I'm saying 3 replicas of Nginx. Pressing enter. So this will create a replicated service with 3 replicas. Okay, so this is done. This is the task ID and it will go into background. It may take some time to create. You can see 1 replica is created. On other 2 nodes, maybe they will be downloading the Nginx image at present. So once that image is downloaded, the replica count, active replica count will be 3. Okay, let's wait it to finish. Another thing, we can meanwhile create a global service. To create a global service, docker service then create dash dash name global service. Whatever name you want to put, you can put. For demonstration, I have picked global underscore service. Otherwise, you can put whatever name you want. Dash dash mode is global and nginx is the image. Okay, it's about to finish. Okay, that's good, it finished. So let's do service ls. You can see this particular service which we created initially, that is replicated. This is replicated service with 3 replica. Its mode is replicated here. Right now only 1 replica is up, and this is the global service which we created, and mode is global. Right now 1 replica is up and 3. You can see we haven't specified count to be 3 replicas. If you see this command, nowhere we specified replica count 3, but automatically pick 3 because there are 3 worker nodes. So depending upon worker node count, it will spin off those many instances or replicas automatically. So that's a global service. Let's wait it to finish. Meanwhile, I can do run ps Docker service ps web server to show you like it is running on node 2. Let's check about replicated service. This is the replicated service name. It is running on node 2, node 1 and the manager. And the global service, let's check quickly. It's also hosted on node 1, node 2 and manager, and it's running. Okay, so let's check the states now. Docker service ls. You can see here it's 3 replicas up here. 3 are desired, 3 are up, 3 desired, 3 up. So it means our services are running. So guys, that's a way you can create services. You can create replicated service or global service depending upon your requirement. Next thing, let's do something quickly. Right now for this replicated service, this one, there are 3 replicas which we put as desired. This is desired state. Let's say we want to scale up the service. How we can scale up? So Docker service scale, then the service name. This is the service name, and I'm saying make it 6, or let's say 5 replicas instead of 3. Press enter. So you can see replicated service scale to 5. So let's see what is the state now. So desired 5 replicas, now 5 replicas are running. So that's a way you can scale up the resources. If you want to scale down, same command, here you can specify replica is equal to 1. So it is scaled down to 1. Repeat this command. You can see 1 is desired and only 1 is running. So you can see how quickly within 1 second it deleted the or updated the definitions and deleted the Docker images on the target machine. So that's a speed which I'm very happy with. Okay, so if you want to see a detailed information about a service, how you can see that? For that you can use Docker service inspect -- pretty and the service name. Let's say I want to see detail about this replicated service. Just telling ID is this one, name is this one. This is replicated service. Right now 1 replica, parallelism 1. These are the other options which I used, and this is the image which is in use. So that's a way you can get detail about any service. How if you want to delete a service? Right now we got 3 services running. Let's say I want to delete the global service. How I can delete that? Docker service rm and the service name. This is a service name. Or you can specify service ID also. Let's specify service ID. Okay, it's deleted. Let's run Docker ls. You can see that service is gone. And instead of service ID, you can mention service name also. Let's say replicated service. This is gone. Sorry, ls. You can see only 1 service is running. So that's the way, guys, you can perform the service management. So there are further reading. If you want to get more detail about services, you can always refer Docker documentation, which is very good. Even I reference for most of the things in this tutorial that is coming from that particular Docker notes. In next video, we will be discussing how you can make a manager node to act as manager only. You don't want manager node to participate in worker activities. So that's something I'm going to cover in next video. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any query, any suggestion, just leave a comment on my YouTube channel. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.